What's up, bro? You wanna pretend we're cuddling? So I was gonna have a little nap because I had a big day yesterday, big day this morning, and I passed my driving test at the ripe age of 26. And randomly, I just got this flood of memories of it being kind of like a common experience for my family's like cars to break down and for us to need to like push the car. Like I got this one memory of this time that we were outside of Asda, like a supermarket when we were in Liverpool, probably when I was like maybe 6, 7 years old. And we were all in my dad's car, like the entire family, and the car just like stopped on the middle of the road. And, he had to like maybe swerve it a little bit into the passing place. And I just visualized that what my dad did was to move it to safety was literally like push the car but from the steering wheel. So imagine, okay, he opens up the driver's side of the car, he stands outside, which I thought was like so embarrassing as well, because I was like, whoa, like, but you can't stand outside of the car like whilst on the road, like people are looking and everything. So he stood outside of the car with the driver's door open, and he's leaning in because he needs to turn the steering wheel, and he basically didn't trust us to do it, so he's pushing the entire fucking car like from that angle. So he's, imagine, like, you get out to the back of the car to push it. He was pushing it from the, like, leaning into the steering wheel to turn it to like the left. And I remember being like, a child thinking like, oh, okay, good. So he could just push us all the way home then. Like we were like 2 miles away. And I was, oh yeah, well, he could just do this, right? We'll probably still get home in like 10 minutes. Like would have taken like 3 hours. And then there's been, like multiple stories that my family have told me. Like my mom always loves telling the story of when we were in Pakistan. I must have been like 2 years old. She's driving me to like nursery or kindergarten, or maybe I was older than two. Maybe I was about like 3 or something years old. But she's driving me to like school or something like that. And it gets to this particular bit where the car breaks down, and she's like worried. What does she do? And this shopkeeper comes out and notices. So that's like the culture in Pakistan, especially I assume back then, was randomers would help you in that kind of situation. So he comes out, he leaves his shop there, and he's like, he's talking to my mom, and okay, this problem, okay, he needs to do this, he needs to go and get something from the shop to help and everything. And I remember something happened and my mom ended up fixing it herself. So she started to drive off, and she always tells this like funny story because the guy came out and he was almost shouting, saying like, oh, wait, miss, miss, miss. But she always found it funny that she like just drove off without actually like thanking him for his help. Obviously she felt like rude, but it was just kind of like a funny story of like, I was sat in the back, like kicking my legs with my little juice packet and everything, with my little crisps and chocolates and stuff. And the reason why I'm recording this right now is just, it's kind of funny that there's, it's kind of wholesome. I'm telling you these stories, but it only just clicked for me now as an adult of like, what does it mean when you have so many family stories of like your cars breaking down? If you've grown up like working class, like, what it means, right? It means like your family haven't been well off. A good friend of mine tells the story of like the game that him and his mother used to play, where she would say like, oh yeah, we're gonna turn off all the lights and like, like sit in the darkness. Actually, like they couldn't afford to pay for the electricity bill. I just found it really interesting. I was just literally just lying here about to nap, about to go to sleep, and I just instantly just got that random barrage of memories, and it makes me very proud to be a businessman who's now become like very well off financially. So I hope, this quick video serves as like a little bit of motivation for you, that if you've had that kind of wholesome family moments of like cars breaking down, or the games that your parents have played with you when they they're basically broke, but they make it out to be a game of like, yeah, we're all going on a diet or whatever, then I really hope you know that what you see about like entrepreneurship, of making money online, of these young people who are retiring their fathers and parents and stuff, that it's actually like true. Like I'm sure that there's some like liars or influencers who are like scammers or something, but truthfully, having experienced this firsthand, where I've made like a fuck ton of money and now I feel like I've retired my family, it's awesome. So I've got the last few days here back in my family home. This is like the room that I grew up in. I moved back here after my recent breakup, and I just grinded for the last few months, took my business, basically doubled my business again. And honestly, like, you wouldn't probably believe it because I don't really, show it like the other influencers do, but like, I truly am like a world-class entrepreneur. There's like this new website, like this social media that's gonna be as big as like Facebook is basically, and I'm number one on it right now. I'm twice as big as the second person on there. And yeah, it feels amazing. So, life update from me. I finally passed my driving test this morning. I'm 26 years old. I'm already like super, well off. So people think like, wait, well, like, why have you only done it now? And I always tell them like, it was just kind of awkward timings. Like when I was 18 years old, I lived right in the middle of Manchester city centre, like this big city, right in the middle. So you didn't even need a car because like everywhere I went was within like 5 minute walk, or we'd get like Ubers, as like university students. Then when I graduated and I left the city when I was about 21, 22 years old, it was COVID and it was the lockdowns for like, what, 2 years on and off. And you just couldn't even get a test. Like the tests were just so hard to get. And then by the end of the lockdown, I was already rich and successful and I was traveling around the world, and I moved to Dubai, I moved to Thailand, everything. So I didn't even need to drive. And then it's just been kind of awkward the last like 1 or 2 years because I'll travel somewhere for a few months, kind of like, move there, and then I come back and I'm gonna be back in the UK for a few months, but it's not been in like I haven't been in the UK consistently for long enough to be able to do the whole process, because often it takes like months and months and months to get a driving test here in the UK. But then my yeah, we ended up just like searching for it. I got one of those apps where you can see like a earlier date, and we just got one booked for literally like, I think it was like 5 days in the future. Literally, like, this was a week ago I started to practice, and I literally got a test booked for today. Like, but I only started practicing last week. Obviously I knew how to drive, obviously, like especially like a automatic car is not fucking hard to drive, so I could drive, just I didn't have legally have the license. And so I just fucking smashed it, bro. Last week I literally just practiced with my dad, practiced with an instructor twice. I eat clean. I have really good sleep usually. Not really right now because I had like a massive day yesterday and I woke up super early today for this. But my brain was so fucking sharp during the assessment that I had no doubt. Like, I kept on saying it to myself, like, I deserve to pass. I know I've only been practicing for a week, but I have like a superhuman brain. Like, my brain's very sharp. I eat mostly just meat, and so my brain is very sharp. I have the brain of a world-class entrepreneur. And I was comparing it. I was gonna say no offense, but if offense intended, to like, normal people who are on the road and they've got like a blood alcohol content of 0.1, and they're all sleep deprived for 7 years straight because they have to wake up for their 9 to 5 jobs and everything. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I deserve to pass. What the fuck? Like, any moment I had a bit of doubt, I would just think like, bro, there's so many people who have passed who like never have even tried to improve their diet, don't even get exercise, don't even get sunlight. Fuck yeah, I deserve to pass. So smashed it. I think I got 3 minors this morning. She didn't tell me, but she mentioned 3 things I did wrong. 3 minors. And yeah, so I can drive now. And I hope I don't have the the track record of my cars breaking down and needed to like play games or pretend or whatever. There's one final story I'll tell you. Is around the same time that we were, that car breaking down story, like with my father pushing it. I remember we were very broke around that time. Like, we were so broke that when a gang of racists started to target us and attack our house and like threaten my sister, and I've told this story before. We had like a really chaotic, like, racist time in Liverpool when I was about 9 years old. And we were so broke, like, we had to just basically keep living in the same house that was getting targeted by like this gang. And they were like attacking my sister in school. They started to throw like eggs, and then eventually they started to throw like bricks through our window and threaten us, and it was crazy, right? And obviously we were like too broke to be able to move away quickly, but it took like a year of basically that trauma of, my dad saving up, and then I'm pretty sure they like had to ask in our entire like extended family for money and everything. But we eventually moved here to this new hometown, and my whole family, we were still broke. And so I just have this one more memory where we used to be in the shopping center together, and I remember like it wasn't for health reasons, but we couldn't afford snacks. And so imagine like being a kid who, is traumatized, you're anxious, and like sugar was like my one comfort drug. Sugar and RuneScape, like video games. and we just couldn't afford that kind of stuff anymore. So when we would go on our like weekly shopping trip to like Asda, like like a Walmart, at the desk or at the till, sorry, there's usually have like some snacks there. And my dad would buy one pack of gum there and then give us each like one stick as soon as, and like literally as soon as the cashier had scanned it, he'd open it because he knew that like I personally was like ravenously like hungry for snacks and everything. And I just remember like it standing at the till and my dad giving me like one stick of chewing gum, which was like basically my snack for the week. And I would savor, I would like literally like suck all the flavor out of it. Like I press it up against the roof of my mouth and everything. Like yeah. Entrepreneurship's a beautiful thing, man. Me telling you all these stories would be sad as fuck if I was still in that situation, but it's probably kind of inspiring to anyone who's watched this far because you know my story and you know that we've gotten out of that financial burden. So yeah, hope this gives you some kind of inspiration. Thank you for cuddling with me this morning. Or it's not even morning time, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's like 2 p.m. and I'm tired as fuck, man. I took all the boys up a mountain yesterday, so I'm super tired. And then the test was this morning.